Hello there. I just wanted to make a follow-up video to my last video because, damn. I go to bed, I wake up, and all of a sudden I see this, and it's pretty shocking. I have spent today, as of this morning, I mean it's getting on the day now. I spent a lot of the day looking through comments, reading some comments, replying to a bunch of comments as well. There's a lot of them coming in. I was not expecting anything like this at all. It's still coming in now, like, regularly. I just want to say thank you guys. I really want to just extend my appreciation for that, because whenever you put a video out, obviously you want as many eyes and voices on it as possible. So I really wasn't expecting this video to reach more than, like, say 10 people maximum, and that's the God's honest truth. I really thought somebody in the community shared this video or something, but looking at my analytics, it looks like you guys just found it through recommendations from YouTube and stuff, so there you go. Yeah, I'm glad, I'm really glad you guys found it, like, as kind of an extension of your own thoughts in a way, and maybe broaching certain points that you don't see talked about very much, perhaps. I don't know, but I really do appreciate it. What I want to do in this video is, well, two things primarily. I'm going to read through some comments. I want to expand on a few things like I did in the description here, just, well, a few things beyond that too, like some things I've seen in comments, some of the tops. I assume they'll be in, yeah, some of the ones in the tops. We're going to talk through a few things. So first of all, just to address the description, these are things I should have mentioned during the video that, yeah, I mentioned here. But just to expand on those things. So yeah, speaks for itself. We should be able to switch while gliding. I feel like the switching in general just feels way smoother in Wuthering Waves, and this is a nice thing to have. That would be great to see in Genshin. Beyond that, this kind of relates to the wall running, but again, something I should have expanded on. The fact that you can vault over rooftops and ledges is great. It's really annoying in Genshin, as I'm sure you guys have experienced yourselves. You know, you get up there with a climb, and it's like a wasted journey. Because, oh, I can't climb over this stupid ledge. Very nice. So two things there. Also, what I want to do in this video beyond discussing the comments afterwards, around the same time I made my video the other day and uploaded it, Wuthering Waves did play a survey for feedback, and I did fill that out. I sent my feedback to a friend, as a matter of fact, so I still have access to it to be able to show you what I wrote, so we can discuss that as well. You know, it's like I said, the sealed tube farming and the limitations on that right now are one of my big things, but there are other things as well that I'd really like to see them improve upon, so we'll discuss that also. But let's go down here, have a look at some of your lovely comments, and thank you again. I just want to say for, like, being kind of understanding. I had this discussion, like I said, in some of the comments on some threads, and a lot of it was met with vitriol and even name calling in some cases, to the kind of points I was talking about, the kind of topics I was talking about. It is what it is, but I certainly see that a lot of people's views align with mine. So now let's start with some of these. We're going to read a few. This one did stand out to me as one of the earlier ones, and this guy makes some great points. I'd butcher your name if I tried to say it, so we'll just have a quick look and a read over and give some opinions here. So some of the prime examples you missed here. So why is the Archon statue healing still limited? We have so many characters with press E to heal that this playtime limiting feature should be removed at this point. Not to mention, you often have to hug the statue for it to heal you. I feel you, I hear you 100%. It's pretty finicky, and I don't know why, and they've never addressed that finickiness. Yeah, that finicky nature of it. I know what you're saying. You have to, like, step up on the stone pedestal itself, and even then, sometimes it'll start the process and then just start again. It's like, I guess I'll stay stationary like a brick then, so you actually work. So yeah, 100%. And the fact that the healing's still limited, I don't know why. It's just stupid. I guess the only thing I could think is to encourage you maybe to use food, but it's like, come on. That's the only thing I could think, and it's kind of silly in itself. Another thing I'd like to touch upon on this, another criticism / suggestion thing to add onto the pile here that we keep adding onto, because this is all valid stuff. Sometimes, in my experience with Genshin, I would switch out teams for teams I haven't used for a while, maybe characters I haven't used for a while, and their health would be low. what I think is the statue should heal every single character that you have, period. It's kind of weird, you know, they'll be like months apart. I haven't used this team in a while. I'll bring these characters out, like Sino, I don't know, is at half health. And it's like, oh, I have to go to the statue or eat some food or something. It's just another thing that they should really be doing. But yeah. Also, this one I really was meaning to bring up, and I was kind of slapping myself when I saw this, because I was like, oh yeah, because I was talking to a friend about this like a week or two ago. 100% correct. The fact that you can mine with any weapon in Wuthering Waves in a simple fashion is lovely. It's just ridiculous in Genshin. I mean, even Zhongli, that's one of his selling points, is that he can mine faster for you. It's just stupid. Also, less related, but I've never been a huge fan of Claymore characters in Genshin. I love the characters themselves. Like, Noelle's one of my favorite characters in the game. She's awesome. But the whole playstyle of Claymore, the slowness of it, not really my cup of tea. Like, Navia being Claymore, although it's an axe, the model, it looks really nice, but I never got her. But, you know, if I had and really was interested in her, I would have been praising my lucky stars that she didn't really use the Claymore so much, but used her skill and ultimate. At the same time, you know, this coincides with something I was talking about before. You know, in this video is the lack of using characters for kits like normal attacks. I just don't really like the way Claymore is. I think that in itself could be revised, because you shouldn't have to hope that a Claymore character is usable through their skill or burst. Mostly, you should really want to enjoy the whole kit. It should all be appealing. So that is what that is, but yeah. Let's have a look. There was some other things here. I wanted to expand on one particularly. We'll probably get to that soon. I might have to split this to find it, but let's have a look at some of the others. Black background, yeah, dark mode for the win. Let's see. Oh, this as well. Yeah, the fact that the weapon banner is guaranteed when you hit 80 pulls is fantastic. What more can I say about that? It's fantastic. It really encourages me to actually set a goal to get weapons for characters. Excellent. It's great, and it just encourages people to actually use the banner and test their luck on it, or save, or whatever the case is, and maybe even invest in the game, because they know what they're getting, and they know they're not being potentially scammed out of what they actually want. So, this comment's quite long. I'm not going to read too many long comments. I did see there's a lot of comments coming in, like I said, 590 and counting. But I've seen some of these already. This guy has a fair point, if not, you know, worded a bit harshly. It's pathetic that people clung to such a mid-game with terrible treatment from the devs. People shouldn't have been so weak that they had to continue to play until WuWa came out. It's a sign of poor mental wellness. You know, almost inciting myself in the situation, I suppose, without saying it so much. And it's not entirely unfounded and incorrect, although my only thing would be that I was enjoying the game for many years. I truly was. There were just catalysts along the way, and these things have been mounting up over time that I discussed in the video, among other things we're all discussing here. Eventually, it's just, you just realize they are not going to do anything, they do not care. And we were really, Wuthering Waves coming out and having played it and experiencing how smooth everything is, how everything flows, and how many improvements there are in quality of life and so many other things. The gameplay just feeling so much better, the combat. It was the final straw, the final catalyst, the deal breaker for me to get away from Genshin. So it is what it is. I understand what he's saying, though. I understand entirely what you're saying, because they treat people like shit. It's like I discussed in the video, they really treat their player base poorly. And even for me, you know, it's something I should have realized far sooner and should have pulled myself away from. Because I would say it's not the healthiest thing. It's almost like a Stockholm Syndrome situation, which is a term I've been using myself against a lot of these Defense Force type people, and people have been saying in the comments too. Like, this game is like Stockholm Syndrome, and yeah, it pulls you in. It pulls you in, and it kind of keeps you there, and they want to keep you there. But there's lovely things about it. Like, the story I do enjoy, but I can get that by watching on YouTube, which would be a preferable avenue for me to play in the game at this point. But yeah, let's move on to see a few more. yeah, that's just what I was kind of saying about the story. A lot of people on the same page as me. I love Genshin story, but can't bear how slow Genshin is being played. You know, now that I've experienced WuWa, it's sad that Hoyo's the one making his players stay away from it. Yeah, I mean, they just don't care. It should kind of be the motto at this point. Hoyoverse, Genshin Impact, we don't care. I've been saying that a lot. I know I said it a lot in the last video, but it rings very true. Let me see. There's one comment in particular I do want to get to because I replied to it, and it's something important relating to a topic I talked about in the last video too. We'll get to it. I'm sure it's down here. I'll split, like I said. I'll definitely get to it. I don't want to leave it out. Let's see. But yeah, thank you again for comments like this. And I've got to say, yeah, I haven't played PGR, but the music in WuWa, I liked it at first, but it's growing on me more and more to the point where I'm in love with some of the tracks. You know, we got much more coming, so I'm really excited to see what's in the music department. But like the overworld type of theme when you're just exploring, I absolutely love it. It'll be playing in the background of this video as well. Dim Forest I really like. Yeah, it's a great variety of music too. There's some creepy tracks as well, like when you first meet Scar in that little abandoned village. Really sets the mood really well. So I'm excited to see what they do in the music department going forward as well. Let me find that comment. I'm going to split the part. Come right back. Oh, just before I do find that specific comment I keep talking about, this one too was kind of interesting and feels valid, honestly. They don't have artifact loadouts because you'll be more likely to farm a set for characters, so they get to keep you playing longer. Maybe that plan is trash, not backfiring them. Well, so far it hasn't seemed to backfire at all. I mean, people have quibbled about it and complained about it and asked for it. They're still making money hand over fist, and it is what it is. So maybe one day, with all these mounting issues and concerns people have, maybe it'll backfire at some point. But that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of, you know, akin to kind of the mental manipulation you see with how they kind of conduct themselves and the game in general. And yeah, it's kind of like pulling the veil over your eyes without you realizing it, because I do think that's probably their mindset, is that, well, you know, if we do this and make it easier for people to just switch between, well, they'll be less incentivized to farm new sets. Very well could be their line of thinking. You know, oh, let's dangle the carrot on the stick. A lot of this has been dangling carrots on sticks. Like the resin, the limit increase recently has been a carrot on a stick that they've just pulled out their asshole in light of Wuthering Waves being actual competition. Like, oh, look, we increased the resin limit, even though you asked for 3+ years. You know, they only did one resin limit bump, and it was near the start, 120 to 160. It's been 160 for years. But you get my point anyway. I just feel like they keep a lot of this stuff in their back pocket until they feel maybe a little bit threatened. You know, screw your opinion, screw what you actually want as a player. You know, we'll just do what we want when we feel we're supposed to do it, whatever. Anyway, let me find that comment. Alright, I found it. And this was echoed by a couple of people I saw, and they're entirely 100% correct. This person articulated quite well. And I didn't articulate my point regarding this very well in the last video, so I definitely want to expand like I did in the response. So I'll just read this out. I only disagree with you one point. You said echoes should be leveled up with other echoes. This would be a terrible idea, as you need to be time-gated to retain your attention and playtime. Entirely correct, by the way. Do I think we should be able to get more tubes from tacit fields or separate means? Absolutely. But being able to level echoes with something you can get anytime endlessly is not an answer, which I 100% agree with. Again, I should have expanded my thoughts and articulated myself better, like I did in this comment, because I've always been of the opinion, before I even talked about this in the video, that if we have this ability, the XP yield should be less. So I'll just read what I said, honestly. You're correct, I should have expanded on this point because there's more to it in my mind than just allowing this. First, they shouldn't yield more XP than even the green tubes. Now, I know there's scaling, there would be XP scaling to consider with that, because we have lower tiers of echoes. You know, we have blues, then purples, then the golds. I don't think the golds should, at most, I think maybe the golds should yield the same amount as green tubes. I don't think that would be too crazy, but beyond that, you know, even if that was the case, what this guy said here is still correct. So I think what you do extra beyond that is this. beyond that, I wouldn't be against a daily limit for how many you can use, say 15 per day. I think it'd make echo farming that much more appealing, and not like you're just wasting your stock by solely merging for one other unleveled echo. That might be bad as well. I don't think this would be a problem. We already have limitations in place for certain things, like the raised, what do they call it? You know, there's a 15 limit per week on raised boss chances for drops or whatever. I think it's just the raised drop rate for boss echoes and whatnot. So that exists already, and it's a 15 limit per week. There's already a precedent for this type of limiting system to be in place, which they could just add in the databank information, so you can keep an eye on it. I think that would be kind of reasonable, and yeah, you wouldn't be able to just do it endlessly, but it'd give the echo farming, it'd make it a bit more meaningful, and you'd be able to use your echoes that way that you don't want to hang on to, rather than just merging. I could see them doing that potentially at some point with those caveats in place, because I just think it makes sense, but we shall see. And like I said, I added, to be fair, the recent news blog post shows that they understand that people aren't satisfied with the amount of tubes that we get. We are, I will say this as well, we are getting a good amount of premium tubes from the current event that's on. It's like 10 per progression. Every time you progress and get your rewards, you get like 10 premium tubes each time, which is actually quite good. I think total is like 50 or something you can get just on that event, so yeah. But obviously they're talking about tacit field rewards increasing, so as I said, they're evidently listening, so we'll just see what happens on that point. Let me see. I didn't even know that, actually. I didn't see this comment. A C6 Emily can infuse a normal attacks with Dendro. Yeah, of course, a C6 of a 5-star. That's when you can actually do it and use the entire kit. Of course. I think there was some other comments up here that were interesting too. Let me see. Oh, this. Yeah, no, I wanted to mention this. So, because I didn't in the video, once again, it's another thing Genshin could and should be doing. Being able to grind mats whenever you want is so huge. Yeah, in Wuthering Waves, material domains you can do anytime. You can pick to do anything. You're not day time/day gated on that. It's not like, oh, I can only get my wave 1 residues on a Tuesday or a Thursday. They did away with that crap, and you can just farm whenever you want. You don't need to plan around it and have this FOMO going on, which is what Hoyo wants to keep pulling you back. Oh, I have to log in on. I have to make sure I log in on Thursday so I can get these types of talent books. Again, it's their convenience above yours at all times. It's ridiculous and just sad. This as well, I kind of want to echo. I talked about this at the beginning about that one comment where people were saying, people should have gotten off the train well before Wuthering Waves, and about it being a sign of mental wellness and whatnot. Some people have been saying in the comments about, financial investment, and the fact that, them putting money into it made it a lot harder, or they've put too much money in. It's, I think they call it the sunken cost fallacy, this. And yeah, look, I've spent money on the game. I said this before. I can't put an exact amount on it, but I have bought the £100 packs in the past when they've been on a double, because they refresh them yearly. But I've not bought one every single year. Trust me, I've not spent that much. At most, I probably spent £400 to £500 on the game since the absolute start. I've been refreshing my Welkins consistently. Battle Pass fairly consistently at one point, but I did stop that because I'm not really getting much out of this. But the point is, I've invested into the game myself, but you can't let that determine whether you stay or not at the end of the day. I was supporting, in my eyes, I was supporting the game financially at a time when I enjoyed it, and now it's over. So that stops. But it is what it is, Kuro Games are going to be getting that investment because they're making a game that I enjoy right now, and most likely are going to for the foreseeable future. I really like what they've got coming from what I've seen. I'm very excited about it. So yeah, don't let that be the chokehold that keeps you playing a game you don't like anymore. That's all I can really say. And yeah, I'll cut it here. We'll see if we've got any more comments. There's so many here, guys. I'm doing my best to really respond to these as best I can. But yeah, I'll come back to you in a minute. I'll find some more. This comment here I did want to touch upon as well. So I don't play Honkai Star Rail. There's no the only real reason for that is turn-based isn't my preferred gameplay genre. I know some people love turn-based games. I do enjoy them, but yeah, it wasn't. It just didn't pull me towards it. I mean, certain things did. I like some character designs a lot. The style of it's pretty cool. I do respect it. But this in itself is sad. The fact that it's the same company, yet one management team, let's say, just treats the game and their players properly. It's very strange to me how that's just the case. But yeah, I want to briefly just say that. I haven't got much substance to add there because, like I said, I don't play Honkai Star Rail. It's just weird to me how that's the case, that, games from the exact same company can be so different in this respect. Yeah, it's annoying. Let's just read some random comments and then we'll move on to the survey. I just uninstalled WuWa the other day because playing it just didn't feel right. Not fun or worth spending the time. Waiting for CCC and Project Mugen. I'm waiting for Project Mugen as well. We need news on that. There's been nothing. I get it though. Look, not everyone's gonna like the same games. That's just how it is. I understand. Everyone has their views and opinions and what they think is fun. It is what it is. ZZZ, I'm not sure about. For one, I'm apprehensive to even play MoHoYo games at this point. I really don't like the way this company operates and how disrespectful they are. ZZZ also, I mean, I like certain things about it. The character designs, lovely. Nekomata would be a pull for me, for sure. I love the design. I'm not sure it's my style of game, though, but we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. That's really it. But I'm not, from what I've seen, I'm not crazy about it. Oh yeah, of course we talked about this one. Let's see. TCG, yeah, I didn't really talk about much. And, I was saying, the fact that there's nothing to do in the last video, and I really mean that. But what I'm talking about, really, is the core of the game and what the actual focus of the game is. Now, the thing is, TCG as a side game, for me, was fun at first. For, the first week to two, it's a bit different, but it's not the core of the game. It's not the actual focus of the game. It's side content that you can engage in, but that might not be appealing to you because, I'm not here to play a card game personally. I'm not. I'm here for the core of what Genshin is. I'm here for the exploration, the characters, the combat, the gameplay, the story as well, of course, which is top precedent for me. But I'm talking about the moment-to-moment activities, the loop of the game. And obviously, as we've talked about, hasn't really improved at all, really. You go to WuWa and it feels like a dream compared to what Genshin is right now. So that's the thing. They really haven't evolved it in the way it should have been evolved. We need an evolution, and this kind of relates to something else. I'm just thinking about now what some people have been saying in the comments, as almost not as a defense so much, but an explanation in their minds as to maybe why I'm dissatisfied. They're saying oh, it's a gacha game, it's gated, so just go and play something else or whatever. Which I think this guy was kind of saying here now that I look at it, in a way, maybe not. But look, the thing is, I understand there's a gacha game. I understand there's gating and that it's necessary to retain interest. I 100% understand all that, but that's not what I'm talking about as my criticism and concerns. The game hasn't evolved. Genshin hasn't evolved in meaningful ways. And they don't listen to their player base and they disrespect them constantly. These are the things that are the problem. It's not the fact that, it's a gacha game. I understand what to expect out of a gacha game. I understand, and I like having reasons to come back to a game over time. They need to be good reasons, though. Let's put it that way and leave it at that. Let's see. Oh, this was actually, I think this was the first comment I got on the video. Because I do remember this one, yeah. Yeah, it was. You'll be back on that LAN releases. As I said in my response, it's just unlikely. I can just watch the story online. I don't have to promote the gameplay by doing that, so that at this point would be more appealing to me. This is actually one of the comments. That's exactly what I said. And this guy summed it up. It's called evolution. That's what people are hyped about. WuWa actually makes progress. What we just said, it's kind of summarized there. And in relation to this comment, this person left. Over at the bottom. I did scroll down trying to find, when I clicked the par here, I did scroll down to try and find that one comment. Let's see. Well, that's toxic. Happy Genshin's recovering. I don't know what he means. Am I a contact? Who's he talking about? I'm happy Genshin is recovering thanks to your beta mature. Oh, he's calling me a toxic content creator. Okay, if you say so. I don't think it's toxic to levy valid criticism of the game. That's just my opinion. The toxic people tend to be the defense force who go out of their way to name call and get really vitriolic and aggressive. Is kind of my experience so far, anyway. And aside from having put this video out and having some really good conversations, most people just happen to agree. And great, I'm glad there's people out there who really, from my perspective, have their eyes wide open to what's going on. Let's see, anything else? I know I've been spending a lot of time on this. Like I said, guys, I appreciate you all having this input and discussion. There's probably more here now since I... 2 more. Yeah, we talked about this and it's true. 100% is weird. It's weird, but it's just true. Combat's more fun than parries and satisfied dungeon scratches my From Software fan brain. Yep, I get it. 100% get it. And it's just, cool mechanics that can exist in the other game, Genshin, we're talking about as well, but they just don't, and they don't care. And I think somebody else brought this up. In an event, we did have parrying, I remember this. One of the events did have parrying, and it never carried over. It's annoying, because some of these timed events do have ideas they never do anything with. Once again, just sad. What can we say? We're just, at this point, I'm treading all ground by even saying it. They don't care. One more comment I quickly want to touch on here as well. Hopefully I won't ramble too much, but it's kind of how I am sometimes, but we'll see. This comment here, and kind of my response. Some subjective stuff to talk about, but also one point I'd like to bring up relating to evolution and how the game is kind of stagnating and all that stuff, all that jazz. But pretty much I'll summarize. He was saying here that he had a hard time installing it, but this video helped him to do so. Maybe it's the final catalyst for him just to kind of come to terms with how he was really feeling. I understand, again, like I feel like Hoyo count on this FOMO, and they certainly perpetuate FOMO. Like, they rely on it with people. The fact that people have been playing this game for years and very attached, and develop a lot of FOMO. They're like, oh, I have to spend my currency, I have to do this, I have to do that. You got to be honest with yourself at the end of the day and realize whether you're truly enjoying the game or not. And I certainly came hard to that realization, and it's like, I'm just not. I don't want to play anymore. So it is what it is. And he also mentioned, the fact that Al-Haytham was keeping him around as a character. And it's funny because Al-Haytham, I said this below, but Al-Haytham and Nahida and Diona, I love Diona, favorite characters in the game. My 3 favorites. I just love that one Diona turns up in the story. She's always like adorable and funny as well, actually. Al-Haytham's gameplay, favorite DPS in the game for me personally. I was addicted to this guy when he came out. Like, the gameplay, very, very fun. Building the stacks for the projection attacks, I just absolutely love as a concept. And it looks amazing too. And Nahida, super, super well written. Her writing is sublime in the game. Absolutely love that character. And just to add some personal on top of this before I get to the thing I was talking about, evolution of the game and whatnot, Sumeru is my favorite arc / region of the game. I know people say Fontaine, and there's a lot of subjectivity with this, I know. I just prefer the writing and what Sumeru brought to the table overall. Fontaine has been cool as well. The writing, the story's been really compelling. A lot of the characters like Neuvillette, Farina, lovely characters. Fortress of Meripede, in my opinion, personally, I know people disagree, but personally I wasn't a huge fan. I feel like the payoff wasn't really there the first time we had that whole Archon quest where we're in the Fortress of Meripede. There was some banging in pipes and stuff like that. It wasn't that interesting, and it just wasn't very compelling to me. It held back the entire region, really, the whole Archon quest for Fontaine. I wasn't a huge fan. But also, Fontaine brought some new things, but Sumeru brought something major in the form of Dendro. A new element is massive. for the game, and it was massive and still is to this day. And of course, having a new element will have a lasting effect forever with the game. When Dendro came out, you know, you got all these new team synergies, team building ideas and concepts and characters put together, meta concepts, and to this day, Dendro still meta, and it will be forever, really. I mean, it's just an amazing element, and it was very fun to explore and learn more about and get these new characters with this brand new element, and we're not really going to get that anymore. And this is an evolution that was a good thing, obviously, because it's a perpetual addition to the game. We began new characters in this element from now on, you know, new team building opportunities and ways to play. So the addition of Dendro was huge, absolutely huge, and it wasn't replicated in any real way at all with Fontaine. I mean, we got Numa and Ucia that are really kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Underwater exploration was cool, but again, that's more akin to, like, I would say TCG, where it's more a side activity. Of course, it relates to exploration, which is cool and all, but, you know, not so much the core of the game, the moment-to-moment gameplay, as much. It feels more like a side activity that's there in Fontaine, where it's going to remain. I don't think that's going to carry over to other regions. It's not perpetual content like a new element, which really does change the core of the game. And again, perpetually is the word. New characters and elements, etc. So I want to talk about that a little bit here, but we'll move on. But thank you again for the comment, dude. Alright guys, I'm going to move on to the feedback, the survey I left, the feedback I left on the survey, and we'll talk through that a little bit, and I think we'll wrap it up there. But thank you once again. Yeah, I really appreciate it, just having all this input and attention. I just can't believe it blew up like this, honestly, so surprising. But let's move on. Alrighty, here we are. So this is exactly what I said. I quoted it to a friend because we were talking about it, but now, what I should have done in some parts of the survey, they allowed you, basically it was a satisfaction rating they gave you for many different questions. So like a 1 to 5, how satisfied are you, 1 to 10, whatever. Some of them I put somewhat satisfied, but in hindsight I probably should have put dissatisfied or somewhat dissatisfied on some things. Maybe I wasn't super happy about, because they did allow you at that point, if you did that, to expand on, make some comments. Some customizable comments of your own words. That being said, at the end, they did allow you to just like lay it all out, any feedback you have. So this is what I wrote there. So I'm not going to read this verbatim. There's the main points here. So I already talked about seal tube farming. Now, one thing, obviously I expanded on my thoughts in the comments and what I talked about earlier to you guys, but I didn't do that as much here, which I really should have. I didn't nuance my thoughts as well, you know, about the XP limits if you were to use them as fuel and stuff like that, and maybe the daily limits. Still, you can read it here. I got a point across in this regard. Probably could have made my point a bit better, so that they don't kind of have the counter in their heads as well of, yeah, but if we do that, people are just going to farm infinitely and we're not going to have any kind of gating, which we need. So yeah, it is what it is. That's the comment I left there on that. I didn't comment on this in the video before, but yeah, here it is. Allows to convert lower tier tuning materials into higher tier ones. I have thousands of 3 and 4 star tuning materials that I won't be using in the future now. I've also heard, I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard about the 1.1, and apparently there's going to be a raised level for the databank, 21. So what I've heard is actually your percentage chance to get a 5-star echo is 100% at level 21. And if that's the case, I'll have no use for these at all, the lower tier tuner materials. So we definitely need the conversion mechanic. I don't think that's going to particularly harm anything, really. I mean, the thing is, the way they've set up the databank level and stuff, you're going to get way more 5 stars. You're just not going to have 3 stars anymore. Once you've merged your 3 stars, they're gone. You're not going to be getting these in the world anymore. So at the very least, we need 3 stars out of the picture. We need to be able to merge those, but even 4s. I think that needs to be a thing. I'm sure, honestly, this is something I'm pretty sure they will do at some point. It's like I said here, you know, allowing this kind of progression wouldn't really be a great harm. And personally speaking, I'm not going anywhere myself, because the draw of this game, for me, goes beyond the gameplay and progression of power. I'm excited for all these things too. And again, I know this comes back to gating. It is important. I think they can work this out. Like, it would be silly for us to have 3 and 4-star tuning materials sitting in our inventory forever that we can't do anything with because our data bank level's too high anyway. So we'll never get those 3 stars. Possibly never get 4 stars if that rumor / leak or whatever is true about level 21, but we'll see. Finally, this is a really big criticism actually, and I should have talked about this a bit more in the video before, but that was, of course, this was more Genshin focused in the last video, but I figured I'd take the opportunity as well to put this out there to show you guys as well how I'm being fair. I think I'm being very fair with both games. Like, WuWa's not perfect at all. I know it's obviously had those technical issues we've all talked about, and they are making strides to fix those, but they really should have delayed the game a little bit. Because people have, been reporting some bad issues, which they are fixing. They are, and the compensation has been delicious, by the way. But it is what it is. But this one, finally for now in my mind, is the English localization for the game. Voice actors are excellent, but the direction / management has been questionable, and it really has. There's many mistakes in the recordings. The most recent one I've noticed is in Yinlin's companion quest, where the voice actor for Larong changes during the scene where he's confronted by Fraxidus members. You guys might remember that. A lot of streamers were showing it and laughing at it and commenting on it. Yeah, he turns British. Like, it sounds like a different person completely for like a sentence or two or whatever. Yeah, and another thing just to comment on is how they pronouncing the name of the girl, Yuan. It was like interchangeable, like it kept changing throughout the quest. It's like they need more consistent direction with how they're meant to read the lines and names, obviously. Beyond that as well, there's many typos and spelling errors in the English text. Just a fact, I've seen many of them, and as I said, needs to be revised. It's a matter that can really serve to break immersion in the story, and unfortunately, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. For me, when I see so many of them, it's like, it's an eye-rolling thing, like, oh god, guys. But yeah, and I will say this too. Genshin had the same issues early on. You guys remember when you got to Liyue and everyone said the name differently of the region? Liyue. It's like every character you ran into said the name differently. And other glitches as well. I remember one with Paimon where I can't remember where this was. I couldn't find the clip because I was looking for it earlier because I always remembered it. Where you're talking to a vendor and she says, "Can we borrow another one?" But it's like the most robotic jumble of words, like mashed together. It doesn't sound right at all. So there's stuff like that, and there was stuff like that. There's been less of it since that game's been in its life cycle. And honestly, I'm sure it'll be that way with Wuthering Waves, but they definitely need to get on that. And I kind of just summarised by, thanking them for the fact that they are continuing to care and fix up aspects of the game and listening to their fan base. And, compensating really well. And yeah, just keep it up really. And hopefully they consider that feedback. And, this is the thing I would say to you guys, definitely submit the survey and your feedback. If they see these things as trends and what people are asking for. I did watch Bran Online's video because he did the survey. And I watched his video after I submitted this, and he actually said mostly the same stuff and a few other things he had some gripes with too. But yeah, if they see that echoed, let's see what I did there, echoed. If they see that echoed among many different players, I'm sure they'll really do something about it. They just seem like a company that does care, Kuro Games. And yeah, I'm very appreciative of that. So I think that'll summarize it, guys. I'm going to delve more into the comments very soon. There's probably been more even since I've been talking here. Or 592, which is honestly crazy. I'm not a content creator, guys. I don't create content regularly. I don't have like great ideas for videos, so I might do some streams or something around 1.1, like pulling, because I'm getting Jinsey, no matter what, and her weapon. So that character looks gosh, she looks amazing. So yeah, I think that will do it. I'll get into the comments. Thank you again. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon. Peace.